All right. Hello, 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 and welcome everyone. Let me see here. I'm going to turn my video on. Hopefully you can see me. I'm going to make my video bigger for a second. And thank you, and welcome, and thank you for joining me here. I'm Otis Landerholm, and here we are at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Really happy to be here with another one of our free monthly seminars. All right, the date that I'm recording this, it is the 9th of October of the year 2020. And I really want to welcome you to joining us here on Facebook. We're also streaming this on YouTube. And so welcome. I'm going to reduce the size of my head, of my talking head on the screen here in just a minute. But before I do so, just to be clear, we're on at 2 p.m. today in English. We're going to be on at 2:30 today in Spanish. And so if you're listening to me right now and you speak Spanish, please join us again at 2:30 and we'll do this exact same seminar, pero en español. Así que si usted habla español, por favor venga con nosotros a las 2:30 del día de hoy y podemos hacer el mismo seminario. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to shorten my talking head here on the screen. And yeah, I really am grateful for you to be here with me. And so my plan today, I'll just jump right in. My plan is I want to do a little bit of an introduction, all right, about who I am, our firm, things like that. I want to talk about citizenship law. I want to talk about the citizenship process, when not to file citizenship, like when it's risky to file for citizenship. What are the benefits of citizenship? And I want to give you a conclusion and an offer. I always like to give a generous offer to anybody that's spending their beautiful, wonderful Friday afternoon with me here today. So if you're with me, stay tuned and don't go anywhere, and let's get you the information you need. All right? So to jump in with my introduction, I like for my clients to get to know me. All right? So, and I do this each time. So yes, you've got Otis the Pro. I'm a founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, but I'm also a family man, right? My wife Wendy and I, we've got 2 kids, Koa and River. We live here in the Bay Area. I love hanging out with my family. I'm also a cyclist. This is a picture of me. I rode my bicycle across the United States. This was back in 2005. It was an amazing experience. And this is Otis the Traveler. I love traveling. I've traveled in 25 different countries. I love visiting other parts of the world. It's a big part of why I do what I do. Which brings me to my why. You know, sometimes my clients ask, hey, why would a white guy, why would a gringo, why would somebody like you be interested in becoming an immigration lawyer? And I just like to explain, you know, the reason is because I believe in the freedom of movement. And I always like to ask the question, like, why is it that I could travel to all these countries? Why is it that I could live in the countries that are bold and underlined on this list? Never once be like caught crossing the border, never once be detained, never once be denied entry, never once have to like hire some lawyer or some law firm to fight for my ability to go to any of these places. All right? So why is it that I could go to all these places, whereas, you know, this picture shows the wall that, yes, indeed does exist between the United States and Mexico, and the crosses that are on this picture represent actual, real human beings who have actually really died trying to enter the United States. And it's like, that's crazy. You know, why on the one hand is it so simple for some people like myself to travel anywhere on planet Earth, and at the same time, why is it so difficult for so many other people to do the exact same thing? And, you know, that was my question. And for me, it's just like it's this kind of built-in unfairness, all right, that exists within the law. And so, you know, I wanted to go to law school. I wanted to figure that out, and And really the reason that it exists is because we've got a legal system that we have created that creates that difference. And it benefits certain people with certain types of documents, but it excludes and it rejects and it deports certain other people with certain other types of documents. And that's the way our immigration system is set up. And unfortunately, I don't like it. And so here we are, you know, and we're lawyers, we're paralegals, and we're legal assistants, and we're here trying to do something about it, all right? And really, we're here to fight for the rights of immigrants who are facing deportation and who are trying to make the United States their home. And so that's it. That's all I want to say about like the intro to who I am. Now I want to focus the rest of my time in our seminar here talking about naturalization and citizenship. And, you know, we'll talk about the law, citizenship law, and who qualifies to quote-unquote naturalize. Before I get into it, though, there's actually 3 types of U.S. citizens, all right? People who are born in the U.S. are automatically citizens by operation of law, whether or not they have the documents to show it. All right, so our office every once in a while receives a call from somebody who was born like on some ranch or some farm, you know, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but in the United States, and they were born at home and they didn't register their birth, right? And it's like the question is, are they a U.S. citizen, right? Maybe they were born to parents who were undocumented at the time and were afraid to go to the hospital or whatever. That happens. Even people that are born in that situation, if you're born on U.S. soil, you're a U.S. citizen, all right? The second way to automatically become a U.S. citizen, all right, is if you have parents who are U.S. citizens who gave birth to a child abroad. I'm just thinking, like, if me and my wife had our kids while we were on vacation in, you know, in Japan or something like that, we could have kids, our children would be U.S. citizens, all right, by the fact that their parents are citizens, all right? The other type is if you have a green card and you're a child and your parents naturalize. They call that derivation of citizenship, and that's a thing too. None of those types of citizenship is what we're actually talking about today. Today I want to talk about the last type of citizenship, which is what we call naturalization. All right, and yes, it's kind of a crazy term, naturalization, to become natural, right? No, you're already natural if you're a human being. You were born on planet Earth through a natural process, which is through human gestation, conception, the whole thing. I'm not here to get into that. The term in the law is naturalization, all right? And the idea is, okay, how can somebody with a green card then go through a process of applying for U.S. citizenship? And that's really what the naturalization process is all about. And so right now I'm going to go through that process. And so just to be super clear, we're talking about green card holders who are looking to apply to become U.S. citizens. And this is something that our office does very, very regularly, and we'd love to help you out with your process if that makes sense for you. All right? So who qualifies for U.S. citizenship? Let's go. Let's do it. Requirement number 1 in the law is you've got to be over 18. All right? Oop, I can see that my head is just a little bit too big there. I'm going to shrink myself down. You've got to be over 18. You've got to be, you've got to have your green card for at least 5 years. All right? There's an exception to that. It's 3 years if you're quote unquote living in marital union with a U.S. citizen. Okay, so we've got to look at the amount of time that you've had your green card. Next, you've got to take and pass a citizenship test. And the test questions are available on uscis.gov, or if you're working with your lawyer, or certainly if you're working with our office, we can give you a copy of the different test questions. There's 100 test questions total. You've got to answer. You'll be given a maximum of 10 questions during the interview, and you've got to answer 6 right out of 10. All right? You've got to show that you're a person of quote-unquote good moral character, all right? There are certain things that cause a problem for good moral character. You can't, for example, have crimes, criminal convictions. You can't be on probation or parole during the and this is during the 5-year or the 3-year period. All right, you've got to show you're a person of good moral character. You also have to be paying your taxes. If you haven't been paying your taxes, and if you haven't like made arrangements to pay them with the IRS, then they can say that you're lacking good moral character. All right. Same thing with alimony and child support. If you owe alimony, if you owe child support, you can be said to not have the required good moral character. Other things like alcoholism, if they say that you're a habitual drunkard, or soliciting prostitution. There are some other things also that can cause a problem for the good moral character ground. So just be aware of that. Make sure to talk it over with an immigration lawyer before you apply for your case. All right, you've got to show you speak basic English. There are exceptions to the English requirement, all right? But, and I don't go into them here on this slide, just so you're aware, if you're at least 50 years old, all right, if you're at least 50 years old and you've had your green card for at least 20 years, you can qualify to do it in English. Or if you're 55 and if you've had your green card for 15 years, you can qualify to do it in your own language and avoid the English requirement. You've got to show that you haven't left the U.S. for long extended periods of time. And the best practice for any green card holder is to not leave the U.S. for more than 6 months at a time. All right? And the other thing is, if you're leaving super frequently, that can cause a problem as well, because you've got to show over the 5 years, or 3 years if you're going under the 3-year rule, you've got to show 51% of the time, at least more than half, slightly more than half of those years were physically present inside the United States. All right? You also have to show you lived in your, they call it your federal district for the last 3 months. I won't get into that. And you have to be willing to swear loyalty to the United States, which is what they're doing here in the photograph. They're taking the oath and swearing loyalty to the United States. And so you have to be willing to do that. Be willing to perform non-military, non-combative service if there were like some national crazy emergency or draft or war effort or something like that. So there you go. Those are the requirements for citizenship. All right, before I go on any more, if you are watching this and if you want a copy of our presentation today, pull out your phone. And I'd love to give you these slides. I'd love to share information. One of my goals in my office is to educate. And I have zero problem sharing these slides with anyone who wants them. And so to do that, pull out your phone, text the word NATZ, N-A-T-Z, which is short for naturalization, and text it to this number, 510-726-8653. Again, 510-726-8653, or send the word NATZ to a direct message here in Facebook, and we will get you this information, all right? Give us a little bit of time because we get a lot of these requests and we're managing a lot of communication right now, but please feel free. Pull out your phone right now. Don't delay. There's no reason not to. Get yourself the information you need and send us the word NATZ and we'll stay in touch. All right? Sweet. So now I want to talk about the citizenship process. And this is not necessarily the citizenship process that every law firm does, but this is the way our firm does it. First step, we do a consultation, all right? We do a detailed consultation to make sure you meet all of those eligibility criteria we just talked about, all right? Because we don't want to file citizenship if it's going to put you at risk, and we don't want to file citizenship if you're going to lose we want to win, all right? And we are on a mission to actually win 10,000 immigration cases in the next 10 years. And so, I'd love for you to help us hit that goal, but we're in it to win it. So we start with a very thorough consultation, and at the consultation, it's up to you to make a decision. Do you want to apply for citizenship or not? Knowing the law, knowing the process, fully informed about your chances, your risks, your options, your eligibility. All right. After that happens, and once you've made a decision, and once you've signed an agreement and retained our office, our next step in the process in our firm is what we call our legal strategy meeting. The legal strategy meeting is an opportunity to review everything, to make sure that you're aware, to make sure that each member of your legal team is aware of what is the strategy that we're going to be presenting in your case to maximize your chances of success, so that we can all celebrate at the conclusion of the case. All right? I like to start any case off on the right foot, organized, all on the same page, so that we can get into it. The third step is when we start doing the documentation gathering. All right? So in any immigration legal case, there's homework, there's documents, there's information that we're going to need from you. Sometimes we need to do a declaration. Sometimes we always need to fill out the forms. So there's lots of documentation and information gathering, and that's what we do there. Step 4, once all of that is gathered and reviewed and thoroughly checked and all of that, we file the case. All right? After we file the case to immigration, we wait, and we wait an unknown amount of time. All right? In the past, the waiting time was 6 months. It is currently much, much longer. All right? More than 24 months right now it's taking for a citizenship interview here in the Bay Area. And so, and with COVID-19 and with everything else, all the other changes that are happening, and with politics, which I'm not going to get too deep into politics right now, but, there is an election that is happening on November 3rd, I think it is, 3rd or 6th. And this process could change as far as the speed of the process, because right now the Trump administration is notoriously slow with immigration processes, way more so than it ever has been in the almost 10 years that I've been doing this. All right, the 6th step, after the interview, typically you have about 30 days after the interview and you should have your response. All right? Sometimes that's not true. Sometimes there's complications. Sometimes they ask for more evidence. Sometimes there's more to it. But I would say in the majority of the cases, 30 days after your interview, you have a response. If you approve, if your case is approved, you win. All right? But it's not actually over at that stage. What you have to do, and it's not on this slide, and I could add it on there, but I want you to just be aware of it. If your case is approved, you must go to the oath ceremony, all right? Just because you passed the test, just because your case is approved for citizenship, you're not a citizen unless and until you go to the oath ceremony where you take the oath and you're sworn in to become a U.S. citizen. If you miss that final piece, you may have been approved for everything. You might have your forms stamped approved, but you will not be a U.S. citizen until you do that oath ceremony. All right? And then what happens if you're not approved? Yes, you can appeal the case. All right? Yes, you could just reapply in the future. And in some instances, your case could be referred to immigration court. And if you have a good lawyer who's catching things from the beginning, you should know whether there's a risk of that happening even before you decide whether or not to apply for citizenship. And so just some things to be aware of. All right, I hope that makes sense. If we're getting any questions, type your questions in on Facebook or whatever. We'll do what we can to get those answered. All right, so the next slide that I want to address is when not to file. When is it risky? When is it a bad idea? When is it dangerous? When is it really flat out stupid for you to apply for U.S. citizenship, and sometimes it is. Basically, in two instances. The first is if you are quote-unquote deportable, all right? When you are quote-unquote deportable, that means that not only could immigration deny your citizenship case, but they could also put you into removal proceedings and try to deport you and take away your green card. The most common times that we see that is if there's crimes, all right? If there's a criminal record, a drug conviction, something like that, they'll deny citizenship, they'll put you in deportation proceedings. If there's fraud, and by that I mean immigration fraud, like even marriage fraud in the record. If you got your green card through marriage fraud, for example, and now you're applying for citizenship, that's risky, all right? Because if they believe at the citizenship stage that you committed marriage fraud, then they'll just take away your green card, they'll put you in deportation proceedings. And if there's any other problem with your initial green card, even like a mistake, maybe they won't initiate deportation proceedings just for a mistake, but theoretically they could, right? And so things to just be cautious of. You want a lawyer who's really going to review your record, review the original green card to make sure everything was done properly so that, at the time of citizenship, you're good to go. The second thing of when not to file citizenship is if you have, quote-unquote, abandoned your residency. If you moved to another country and you were intending to live in some other country permanently, then immigration will be like, you were no longer a lawful permanent resident. You weren't residing in the United States, which is one of the requirements of maintaining that green card. All right, so watch out for extended trips abroad. If you were outside the U.S. for over a year, that can cause a serious problem. You're going to want to talk to an immigration lawyer before you apply for citizenship. And do not declare yourself a quote-unquote non-immigrant when filing for taxes. All right, IRS, they look at IRS issues at the time of citizenship also. All right, I hope this was helpful. There are benefits of citizenship, so I want you to know that before finishing today. So the main benefit, or I would say one of the huge ones, is you can't be deported, period. I don't care what happens if you're a U.S. citizen. Now, that doesn't mean they can't do a process called denaturalization, and that's why I put an asterisk here, because theoretically they could start do a federal court case and try to undo your citizenship. But that's a big deal. It's uncommon, although maybe we have actually been seeing it more and more in recent years. Again, political conversation there. But if your citizenship was lawfully gotten, then you will not be able to be deported. Also, if you're a U.S. citizen, you can apply for any job in the United States with the exception of running for U.S. president. All right? So you have to be born in the U.S. in order to do that. Naturalized citizens cannot become U.S. president, but you can do any other job. You can serve on juries, a huge benefit. You can vote. Oh, man, there's a reason I'm doing this monthly seminar right now. I want your vote, all right? We need people that are like open-minded, voting for representatives and members of Congress and presidents who are open-minded and who are willing to actually, do something about all the problems within our U.S. immigration system, all right? As a citizen, you can petition for parents, siblings, spouses, and children. So that's another benefit, right? You can petition for your parents to come and join you in the U.S. or siblings, spouses. Often these cases take a long time. For siblings, they take years and years. But it's a benefit that you have if you're a U.S. citizen. And there are many more, all right? For example, there is a benefit to traveling to certain other countries with a U.S. passport in your hand. There's also a benefit if you are overseas, where if there's an issue, you can go and get services at a U.S. embassy, and there are others that I won't get into right now. But those are the main ones, all right? And so, if you're listening to this and if those things are valuable to you, hey, let's figure out if you're eligible. Let's talk it through. Let's look at the strategy and let's figure out if we can apply for U.S. citizenship. All right, now get right down to it. What is the offer? The offer is to do that, right? Let's figure out if you're eligible for U.S. citizenship. To do that, let's get you a legal consultation, all right? And normally, our office, we charge $95 for a straight-up consultation. It's not with me, but it's with my team. My team is awesome. They can handle it, and they're great, and you're going to love it, all right? And so, the legal consultation, a copy of my book, which I do have a copy here. It's actually not this specific book. This is my newest book, everybody. But I have a book that's a guide for immigrants who are in removal proceedings or who are in deportation proceedings, and I want everybody to have a copy of that. This book, I'll just put a plug for it real quick, is called The Empowered Immigrant, and we're still putting stuff together. I don't have the means to send it out to everybody who wants a free copy of it right now or built in with this offer right now, but that will be to come. You'll get a copy of today's presentation. You'll get a copy of our top 12 things for immigrants to avoid, which is one of our guides, and you'll get a 100% satisfaction guarantee, all with the consult. So when you come in for the consult, if you're not 100% satisfied for any reason, you get all the money back. And you'll get all of those things for a super monthly seminar discount of just $25. All right? And so, take advantage of it. A $25 legal consultation, I mean, I don't know what the price of a Happy Meal is at McDonald's, but it's basically that. Maybe a little bit more. A couple Happy Meals for the kids. The price of that, and here you can come and get some actual understanding, clarity about your situation, and a good determination as to whether or not citizenship would be a good solution to your situation. So don't hesitate, go for it. The way to go for it is to pick up that phone, as we did earlier, text the word NATS, as we did earlier, N-A-T-Z, to 510-726-8653, or to send the word NATS to a direct message just here in Facebook. We will be in touch with you. We will give you that offer with all those bonuses of our discounted consultation. And I really hope that you take advantage of it. Please take advantage of it now. If you're on this, please take advantage of it today. Please take advantage of it yesterday. I want as many citizens as possible, all right, especially citizens from other parts of the world, because you guys come in to this country with ideas and with experiences and with culture and with a frame of mind that helps improve this country just by the very nature that you bring diversity, all right? And so I want you to become citizens. I'm on like a mission to make more U.S. citizens, and it's one of the great things about being an immigration lawyer. We can make more U.S. citizens, all right? So give us a call. I'd love to help you with that. All right. If you have any questions, let me know that. It's now 2:29. I'm going to get started in the Spanish version. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic rest of your day. And thank you very much. Again, I'm Otis Landerholm, founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. Take advantage of the discount here, the super special monthly seminar discount. Can't wait to see you.